This is my Project 7 video on Chapter 9. The problem states, draw the Lewis structure for Ns3 negative. What is the electron domain geometry? What is the molecular geometry? And is the molecule polar or nonpolar? So this question is actually a four-part question. The first question asks us to draw the Lewis structure of Ns3. The first thing you want to do when drawing a Lewis structure is you want to determine how many valence electrons are in the molecule. Nitrogen has 5 valence electrons, sulfur has 6, but there's 3 of them, so 3 times 6 is 18. 5 plus 18 plus 1, because we can't forget that Ns3 is negatively charged, equals a total of 24 valence electrons. So now you want to draw the Lewis structure. You put nitrogen in the center and the sulfurs surrounding them. You want to create the bonds and then add the valence electrons so that you have an octet with each atom. In step 2, it asks how many electron domains are there. Each non-bonding pair, single bond, or multiple bond equals a single electron domain. Therefore, there are 3 electron domains in Ns3 negative, because this is 1, and this is 1. Table 9.1 in the book tells us that a molecule with an electron domain of 3 has a trigonal planar electron domain geometry with bond angles at 120 degrees. The third question asks, what is the molecular geometry? The molecular geometry accounts bonding and non-bonding pairs. If the central atom has no non-bonding pairs, then the molecular geometry is the same as the electron domain geometry. Therefore, the molecular geometry of Ns3 negative is also trigonal planar. The last question asks, is the molecule polar or nonpolar? It's polar. Nitrogen is more negatively charged than sulfur, and the molecular charges do not cancel, making the molecule polar. So here in this diagram you can see that nitrogen is more negatively charged and the sulfurs are more positively charged, making this molecular geometry polar.